If somebody has a sluggish, the digestive system, almost always the gallbladder, or I would say always, in my opinion, always is affected by something, whether it's acetaldehyde, whether it's ammonia, whether it's, various, issues with trans fats because the diet's terrible. Regardless of what things are messing with it, it's always something that contributes to poor bile production and poor quality bile production. And so if it's really not good quality, the way I like to describe it is, if you've got, butter you put in the freezer, it's going to be nice and hard and you cannot squeeze it out of the gallbladder. But if you leave it on the counter and it spreads nice and easily, it'll be able, to be spread. Um, if you do not have that spreadable, butter bile at that point, things are not going to move. And that's where constipation is a very, very common issue. Um, all of these things all kind of feed back into gallbladder being dysfunctional, bile being poor quality, you know, um, just needing more resources to produce bile. Well, the resources on the list to produce bile are things like vitamin A, taurine, glycine, vitamin C, um, resveratrol. There's a lot of different things on the list that can help make bile, and quite a few of those are also depleted when you have chronic cortisol production and chronic hormone detox issues. Trimethylglycine on the list that helps support bile, choline necessary to make bile. They're all involved with methylation and detoxification of steroid hormones. And so that's kind of my reasoning for why I am always in the ballpark of you need to eat first thing in the morning, within an hour of waking up. If you don't do that, if you've got a digestive issue and say you've got, a sluggish digestive system, and yeah, you may feel hungry later, it's just kind of making that problem worse, in my opinion. You need to, I call it consolidation of resources. Think of it like you're at a big company and there's way too many employees. You need to minimize waste so that the bottom line of resources for your body to do what it's intended and needs to do to function properly are available for use. And so we'll get more in a little bit into like what sort of supplements and things like that I tend to recommend to people to make sure that you're keeping up on these things. But I always tell people, man, you got to sometimes channel your inner caveman and just eat because you have to and not because you want to sometimes. It's just you have to eat good quality food when it's necessary